King the Land versus Business Proposal versus What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, and see who comes out on top as the winner. Let's go. Hi, I'm Monique. I'm the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast, and I'm just going to head straight into it. We're going to be dealing with some heavy-hitting categories here. I am comparing King the Land, Business Proposal, and What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, the three major office romance K-dramas that are arguably some of the most popular in the genre. And I'm just going to put it to the test and see where they lead up. So let's start off with the category of best chemistry and best first kiss. So I'm going to start off by talking about Business Proposal, and I have my notes, so I'm going to be looking up, I'm going to be looking down. So to start off with Business Proposal, I think this one was probably the sweetest of all the first kiss. I think the two leads had this really great build-up throughout the entirety of the drama, and I just thought their first kiss, along the wall in the middle of shooting their cooking episode, I thought it was just nicely staged, and it was just a nice kiss, not too awkward, not too off-putting, and I just found the chemistry in Business Proposal really good overall. I just enjoyed a lot of their moments. I think both actors bring a lot of really great physicality to the role. They both do comedic timing really well. I feel like they played off one another really, really well. And the chemistry really kept me captivated for all the episodes, which is really hard for me to do. Even with K-dramas I love, sometimes I find with the episode lengths, I find like maybe it was one too many episodes, whereas with Business Proposal I was pretty locked in and engaged from the word go. Bonus points as well for the secondary characters as well. For the best friend and the brother / assistant, their scorching kiss where he rips off, let me just rip off my glasses, rips off his glasses, and they just go in for that kiss, was so iconic. It was all over social media. It was trending everywhere. It was just a phenomenal kiss. So just right off the bat, for Business Proposal, first kiss, and chemistry, I'm going to give it the scoring of 4.5 out of 5. Bonus points for the second leads in this drama because it was really good. Now let's move on to King the Land. So I would say one of the really big highlights of King the Land, and I talked about this in a prior podcast episode that's up on my channel if you're watching this through YouTube. I think Yuna and Junho's chemistry really bled through the entirety of the show. I think their long-standing friendship and their professionalism with one another, working aside each other as idols for as long as they have, really helped them and did a lot of heavy lifting for King the Land. There wasn't one awkward moment between them. I think the first kiss had incredible lead up. It had like the classic, first real date setup. The male lead is like cooking a romantic dinner. The female lead, she's like, oh, ooh and ah. And it was just really nicely done. Nice little pasta dish. And they just have all of a sudden this mishap happen, like a kitchen fire quickly put out because, Guwon was just really fast acting, and Sarong was, there as well. And then the waterworks start, just the waterfall, the sprinkler system goes off, and the music starts to swell, and you just get this incredible setup, just beautiful cinematography for the kiss. And I have to say, I really love King the Land's OST, and just everything about it was just pitch perfect from start to finish. It's just a really great cinematic first kiss, and the chemistry was just good. There was a lot of little moments that I really enjoyed, and there was little smiles and little smirks, and there was touches, and just the way that Yuna and Junho would move with one another. They were just very in sync, and it just made a lot of sense. Their friendship, again, did a lot of heavy lifting for this show. It just was pitch perfect, and I just really enjoyed their chemistry and dynamics. So overall scoring, 4.4 out of 5. What's wrong with Secretary Kim? Chemistry, breakdown, and kiss. Now, chemistry, I think in romantic settings was really, really well done. I think when they were in actual romantic settings, their chemistry really lit up the screen. I really loved all the little moments where he would grab her around the waist and bring her to his lap. It happened quite a few times in the show, and that was cute. The way that she would giggle every now and then. I feel like when they were actually romantic, you could really see the chemistry. But then there's other times where I feel like the chemistry would drop a little bit outside of like the super romantic setting. Now, the caveat, the kiss. Their kiss was so incredibly epic. Probably one of the most scorching on-screen K-drama kisses I have ever seen. Their kiss just lit up everything. Everything from the staging of it, the lighting of it, her pushed up against the wall and him just going in. One of the best on-screen kisses I have ever seen. So even though there were certain moments where I really felt the chemistry and other moments where I felt like it was kind of cold and a little off a little bit, the chemistry in that kiss was everything. And these are two powerhouse actors, and the kiss was fitting their two statuses of favorite actors. It was just beyond. It was probably one of my favorites. I can't get over it. I think it's like in the top 3 of all kisses, like on screen, just in general. Never mind just K-dramas, just in general. So because of that kiss alone, I'm giving it 5 out of 5. Even though there's some awkward moments, just me personally, that I found in the show, I'm just going to say that kiss kind of wiped out everything. It's just like the gold standard. Second category, we have the male lead and Secretary, what's wrong with Secretary Kim? I want to start off by saying he does stoic really well. He does handling a lot of darker emotions, a lot of heavier material really well. The thing with Secretary Kim in particular is that the show can go from super zany, leans heavily into the comedic aspects of the show, and then goes to very stark, very serious, dark subject matter. And a lot of the times the tone in general would be very jarring. Like, it would kind of take you out of the moment. When it was dealing with like the PTSD from the traumatic events of the subplots of the kidnapping, he really plays it very well. Like the sleep paralysis, just the whole nightmare of not being able to overcome something that was extraordinarily traumatic. I think he did a phenomenal job in that. And I also want to give credit to the younger actor that plays the counterpart to him, that plays the younger version of his character as well. Especially in like episode 11, his acting, the younger actor, is bone chilling. And it's really dark and gruesome storyline. So I think on that end, I think he's really great. He's just a great actor in general. But I will say, as far as the male lead, the CFO or CEO office romance, I think he's kind of playing like the standard boss outside of the really dramatic moments where you got into like the nitty gritty of the subplot, the central subplot. Outside of that, he wasn't necessarily my favorite. So for acting alone and for the darker material, I'm going to give him like a 4 out of 5. Now, moving on to Junho and King the Land. I find Junho really, really warm. I think he came off really energetic and really charismatic in his CEO role for King the Land. I like with his character as well that he had an actual interest in the ongoings of the hotel. Now, mind you, throughout a lot of the show, he was basically chasing Sarong around a lot. He was running around. He was got his head in the clouds. Like very early on, the show made a point of showing that he fell for her first, and I really like that. I like it when the male lead is absolutely thirsty, absolutely desperate for his girl. I actually really like that. But outside of him chasing after Sarong, I think he actually did have a genuine interest in making the working conditions better. He wanted to make this hotel chain that much better and actually improve on its legacy. I think the whole entire 100-year celebration ceremony really showcased this in a really great way. I thought it was very moving, even though there was the whole subplot of him, you know, and his antagonistic sister. I thought it really did a great job showing how much he wanted to improve the quality of life of the employees of King the Land. And I like that he had that ambition, and definitely towards the end. If anything, I wish that they leaned into that a bit more for his character as well. Guan, I think it would have benefited from him to show even more of him getting his hands dirty as far as strategizing more ways to branch out this hotel chain, because they did touch upon that in the later episodes towards concluding it as well. But as much as I love the scenes of the romance, and obviously Junho and Yuna are just electrifying, I would have loved a little bit more of the more serious angle. And it was very low stakes for his character. I feel like one of the dramatic moments that really let Junho shine and show his acting chops was when he finally meets with his mother, which I kind of thought was kind of rushed together. They had this foreshadowing for a long time that his mother probably would resurface in the show. They finally meet, and it was very emotional and very moving, and I love that they were able to reconcile. But I wish that kind of came sooner in the show. To be honest, I think that would have been a lot more satisfying for the viewers, and it would have added a little bit more stakes in the show, because the show does come off really fluffy, which I'm sure there's some people that love. Some people just want the romantic comedy and don't want the darker elements, even though I think the darker elements kind of well-round things. But you know, you have to be careful with tone, you know, tone shifting from the spectrum. So I just like the character in general. I responded to him the most as far as the male leads of these 3 shows, so I'm giving him a 4.5 out of 5. And then An Ho Seop from Business Proposal, I liked his physicality. I think he was really funny. I think he played off of his female co-star really well. I love the levity of Business Proposal a lot, but I'll be honest, out of the 3 male leads, I think his character arc, in my opinion, was maybe the weakest. But I did love the physicality of the actor. I think he leans into humor really well. I just enjoyed his interactions overall, and he had some really funny line readings. I'm going to paraphrase. I think there's one where he meets up with her friends and he's like, you know what? My love for you is like this black card, limitless, or something like that. And it's like, mic drop. And it was so funny to me. I was like, yes, yes, King. So I really liked him. But out of the 3 leads, I think I'm going to score him probably like a 3.5 out of 5, to be honest. So there's that. Now, female leads. Let's get into that. Let's start off with Secretary Kim. Park Min-young. She is the queen of rom-coms. She is one of my favorite actresses. She stars in two of my all-time favorite K-dramas, and she brings it. Like, this is her wheelhouse. I think I'm a lot more biased towards her. And she's beautiful, right? And she just has a captivating screen presence in general. As far as her character though in Secretary Kim, I think it's pretty much standard female lead of a romance. And I know with Secretary Kim, it leans more into the melodrama versus, you know, the romantic comedy sphere. There's some moments that I really do like. I like that she had amazing work ethic. I love the sequence of her learning Japanese and then having to subsequently learn Mandarin as well to help assist with the CFO and to improve her skills as well, because she was chastised for that, and she was like, no, I'm going to do the absolute best job I can. I like that. I like the slapstick moments here and there, but overall I kind of think she was like kind of standard fare as far as leading lady for this particular drama, as much as I love her. And basically my love for her and her screen presence is what is going to allow me to give her a 4 out of 5. That is for Secretary Kim. Now moving on to King the Land and Sarang, and played by Yuna. I gotta say, Yuna really shined in this one. I think she's super funny, super warm, and has just dynamic, lightning in a bottle chemistry with Junho. And I know they have a lot of history together, but despite the fact that they've known each other for so many years as idols, they really came to work. And I think she was just really phenomenal in this show. Just the way she would smile, just the way she would laugh, I just find that she had chemistry and sparked with every other cast member in the show. And for the character Sarang as well, I think what I loved about her is not just her work ethic alone, but she would never ever allow how she was treated stop her from performing at her absolute 100% best. She always brought her A game, doesn't matter what hotel she was working at, even when she was demoted and sent to like the Travel Lodge hotel where they basically cast off all the employees that got in trouble. She still put in her work ethic. She did her absolute best. And she always had a smile. And she took pride in her smile. And she took pride in her work. And I think she just had a really good energy throughout the entirety of this show. I think Yuna brought a lot of charm. I enjoyed just watching her. Not even just the chemistry with Junho, just the chemistry with everyone. I thought she and the girls that played her friends as well had a really good friendship group chemistry. I just enjoyed her overall, and even up to when she opened her own bed and breakfast, the character, I was rooting for her because it just all felt good. The scenes with her grandmother as well were really homey and really touching, and they came off really natural. Just overall, I really liked her, so I'm giving her a 4.5 out of 5. Which brings me to Business Proposal. Hari, the character, I think I just loved her so much. I think she has great physicality. The actress really throws her body into the role. She's extremely engaging. She's extremely funny. I think her facial expressions, like she can do 5-6 expressions in a matter of seconds. I think I enjoyed her so much. There's something about her face that is so warm and inviting. Now, I know this actress is a singer as well, and I know that there's another K-drama of hers that I really want to watch, but the name of it is escaping me. But I don't know that much about her, but I do know that when I see her face, I weirdly enough feel comforted. Isn't that kind of weird? There's just something about her that's so super engaging that I just love and adore. And her unrequited love for her best friend really made me sympathize and empathize with her. I've been in kind of a similar dynamic myself, which is, I know, kind of sus. I think her interactions with her friend as well in the show was really great, and her creativity, her drive, her love of food, just the love of her hobbies. I enjoy her presence on screen so much. I love this character, loved and adored her. And she made Business Proposal that much more fun, especially when she was acting wild in those first episodes and throwing off the male lead. And you could just see him looking at her like, wow, she is crazy as hell. And I absolutely adore her for it. I feel like she sold it. Like I just adored the character a lot. So for her, I'm just giving her 5 out of 5 because I just enjoyed her presence. I really do. I don't know what else to say. She may not have had the dramatic material that was in like Secretary Kim, but I feel like Business Proposal both had lighthearted moments and heavier moments, but the tones weren't so jarring that it all just kind of came together really nicely. Now let's talk overall plots, pacing, flow, and overall enjoyment. Let me start off with King the Land. I enjoyed King the Land a lot. I think, again, Junho's and Yuna's chemistry did a lot of heavy lifting for the show. I'll even say the secondary characters, not so much the friend that was married to the husband that was that basically got fired from his job and then was basically golfing and she thought that he was cheating on her, which I kind of wish he almost was cheating on her because I feel like he was such a jerk for only the resolution to be, oh, he just has to pick up around the house. I wanted her to divorce him, to be honest. I was very unsatisfied with that storyline. But her other friend, the flight attendant, who ends up linking up with her junior, their relationship was really sweet, and I enjoyed that subplot as well. And I enjoyed the fluffiness, but I think I mentioned this in the episode that I posted prior about King the Land, that I think it kind of went on for too long. As much as I enjoyed the chemistry, and I enjoy shows where there doesn't need to be super high stakes, but I think the show did suffer from the fact that it was so fluffy that it kind of needed a little bit more stakes in it to make it narratively a little bit more interesting. I think 16 episodes was a bit much for it. I think it kind of overwhelmed the show. I think it could have benefited from a 12 episode arc, to be honest. And it could have tightened up in a few episodes here and there because it did kind of feel like it was dragging. But there were so many really cool sequences. I love like the rescue scene and him flying through the sky like a flying squirrel was hilarious. I think the little moments here and there are just really cute, and the wedding, gorgeous. So I overall enjoyed it. So overall, I really like the show. I'm going to hide my scoring for this last segment. Now moving on to What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. I think with this show, on paper, it's just really, really solid. I think most people watching would say that that is objectively like the best show out of the 3. I think it has a lot of heavy drama in it. And I found sometimes with the tone, it would be very much like Whiplash. You'll have a scene where there's like twinkling guitar in the background. It's like super funny and super sweet. And then there'll be a dramatic shot of lacerations on the male lead's ankles. And it would foreshadow back to the trauma that was the whole kidnapping subplot. It would kind of take you out of the more sweeter, lighter hearted moments. So I find like the shift between the dramatic elements and the lighthearted comedic elements almost too jarring. So at times I would enjoy the show, I would enjoy the pacing, and other times I would be taken out of it completely. But when the romance was good, the romance was phenomenal. Again, the kiss was scorching, like iconic on all levels. And the wedding, every bit as beautiful as the one that showcased in King the Land. So overall, I can understand why What's Wrong with Secretary Kim is an instant classic. And then finally, I feel like Business Proposal was like a warm hug. I really enjoyed watching it, and it did lighthearted moments with also tackling serious topics really well. I think one of the subplots, other than the unrequited love between the female lead and her best friend, which was a major sub-arc, and the entire relationship with her and the male lead. There was subject matter involving like sexual assault and like spy cams. And with the second lead actress in particular, they were able to show some of the PTSD and some of the trauma she had from that, you know, just the fear. And somehow the show was able to balance like a heavier topic like that, something that's very serious. So my camera kind of cut off. I was talking so much, but now we're at the point of the video. What drama do I think is the best? I think What's Wrong with Secretary Kim is a classic, and on paper, objectively, it's a really, really good show. But to be honest, my absolute favorite is Business Proposal. Sorry, I loved it. It's a rewatch for me. Even though the ending was kind of anticlimactic, it didn't have the big, beautiful wedding of King the Land and Secretary Kim. I just really enjoyed it, and I find that I watch that show again and again. It has both the really romantic comedy element while handling some serious subject matters, but not tonally being jarring. And I just enjoy rewatching it again and again. I just love it. So overall, Business Proposal wins, but all three dramas are fantastic, and they're very popular in the K-drama viewing community for a reason. Now, if you have any disagreements about that, or you want to talk about any of these dramas in general, please leave a comment. Please leave a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate that. Subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of that, more videos in this vein. If you're watching or listening through Spotify, I appreciate you as well. Give me 5 stars, you know. Thank you for joining me so much. This was fun. Until the next video. Peace.